Hello ladies and gentlemen, Azaka here. I'm bringing to another video for Conqueror's Blade published by Porus Interactive and my games developed by Booming Tech. So this will be PTR update. So this will be a PTR update. So we just had, well, it was announced a couple of hours ago, but I'm actually able to get onto the PTR to have kind of like say first look at some of these changes. So I'll go through them, say my thoughts, and we'll take a look at things that we can with some of the things. I'm not going to go into any of the game modes. I think most of the main stuff has already been figured out by either other people or will be figured out on live. In hindsight, a lot of things will slip through the crack because PTR doesn't have a kind of wider battlefield effect. So units that would theoretically be insanely OP in a wider battlefield could end up being quite weak in a one-on-one scenario. But that being said, we have changes to the 3-star feathered crossbowman, so increase the accuracy of basic attack in range mode. I expected this to happen, but at the same time, the increase in accuracy doctrine should have really covered this. Optimize the enemy seeking logic of Sudden Storm. This has to do with some people saying that Sudden Storm would only shoot where the target is instead of where they're going. So something around rather. So low accuracy to moving targets. Fix the issue of double shot doctrine does not display in UI interface. Okay, in UI because it's the so that'd just be weird. Fix the issue of Sudden Storm cannot knock back enemies in melee mode. I didn't realize that there was supposed to be a knockback. Fix the issue of units might not attack after Sudden Storm triggered. That did not seem to be the case when I saw them, but that could actually be shown as some of the units being kind of offset from the volleys. So quite possibly it could have happened. Just wasn't paying attention enough. Reduce damage dealt in melee mode. That is very interesting. We're going to see how much reduction in damage we're talking about. The damage in melee mode does seem to fluctuate a lot, but we'll have to see if we can catch how much they reduce it by. Sudden Storm can be used with Twin Blossom simultaneously in range mode. Now, I am of the belief that this is a mistake in translation, quite possibly, but at the same time it might not be. Twin Blossom might be referring to something else entirely that quite possibly not be on the PTR. Just gonna have to double check. We do have access to some of these things, so I don't think I saw any. Yeah, just double shot doctrines and stuff. Though it's kind of concerning that this does say Legendary Archery Doctrine 2 and stuff. So where's the 1? That being said, moving on to the 4-star unit, the Woeay Mansion Guard. Fix the issue of damage loss during basic attack. That's an interesting one. Most of the damage coming through basic attacks, it felt like. So if they're supposed to deal more damage during basic attack, that's actually quite interesting. Soul Breaking Claw can reduce enemies' all defense value by 30%. Now that is an insane debuff to add, considering that the Cudgel Monks do the same thing, but have to hit you 5 times. The duration of Soul Breaking Claw has been reduced from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. The cooldown has been decreased from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. Very interesting. So 3 seconds off here. The effect range of Soul Breaking Claw has been reduced. Interesting. We've already established that the pikes have relatively low range. So having that being reduced can be a bit of concern. The cooldown of Brutal Swoop is reduced to 0, but it can only be used within 4 seconds after using Soul Breaking Claw. So it's going to be a kind of 1-2 combo thing where you will use Soul Breaking Claw followed by Brutal Sweep. So having it being reduced to 0, does that mean you can spam it? Or you can only use it once after each Soul Breaking Claw. So that's going to be something to check. The throw effect of Brutal Sweep changed to Struck against units and knockback heroes. Struck. Struck. Struck can be a basic daze, but it could also be stun. It's going to be interesting what this means. I think in terms of CC level, it should be a knockdown against units and a knockback against heroes, but I'm gonna have to see what it does, if we can even tell, or whether or not in game the things have been changed. Optimize the range of Brutal Sweep, enabling it to target more enemies. So again, that was to be expected. It doesn't tell us how many enemies it's supposed to target, and whether or not it was the target limit. Oh, well, I mean, in this case, the range of Brutal Sweep is supposed to be increased, or at least the AoE is bigger. Not sure how that's going to turn out. And it's supposed to be hitting more people, so again, we're going to get a bit more of an area of effect. Probably going to see a big damage increase from using Brutal Sweep. The healing requirement for the Pike proficiency has changed to both skills, and basic attacks can heal the units. Interestingly enough, this means that depending on how fast their attack speed, they could actually heal faster than even men-at-arms. Considering how much base health they have, these guys could be fairly durable as long as they keep attacking. The duration of overwhelming power is reduced. New mechanism has been added where kills can reduce the cooldown of Soul Breaking Claw. Now, that is concerning. Again, I don't like this, considering that the cooldown reduction is kind of a thing that came out from the Orochis and the how to say the Ronins. You also have the Kriegsbrothers also getting these cooldown reductions on kill. I forget who's the original one was. I'm pretty sure there is a original that had cooldown reduction on kills or something like this. But it is concerning because how they want this to work is Soul Breaking Claw into Brutal Sweep, and if Soul Breaking Claw doesn't do damage, Brutal Sweep will definitely do damage, and this will cause you to be able to Soul Breaking Claw into Brutal Sweep continuously. Well, that's just very interesting. Targeted Strike now deals additional block break damage to sword and shields units. So that's a particular type. That's going to be concerning. Not just additional block break to everyone, it's just additional block break to sword and shield units. So I guess they're trying to get the Woeay Mansion Guards to be anti-infantry, considering that like all of these guys would technically be anti-infantry, which is annoying. But regardless, I'm not here to debate against the developers on what their intent is. I am mostly going to put my opinions on how I would handle each of the units and where they should, and what direction they should be going with how their kit is at the current time. Now, interestingly enough, the 5-star Zhuangjia Heavy Cavalry optimize the effect description and cooldown times of Swift as Lightning and Weapon Veteran. Swift as Lightning will now charge towards to the wow man bad English will now charge towards to the designated direction instead of designated location, and players' subsequent move commands can still allow it to avoid obstacles while dashing. When activating Weapon Veteran, players' move commands will not interrupt this status of Weapon Veteran. Now that's actually good. I mean, I've seen this kind of in a couple of videos and kind of gotten a better understanding of what Weapon Veteran does and what Weapon Veteran was really supposed to be. So now I've been able to differentiate what Thorn Mail is, their passive powerful attack, where they do a powerful stab followed by a downward strike, versus Weapon Veteran, where they will change from one side to the other, striking lots of people on either side. Now, they reduced the extra movement speed in Swift as Lightning, but we're not sure how much by, or what Swift as Lightning movement speed bonus was, but it did seem relatively fast considering how slow they realistically are in comparison to like Lance Cavalry in a charge. They're not particularly fast, but they were faster than something. They were faster, fast enough where you could consider probably a 20% or maybe 30% increase. So probably they'll reduce it down to 15 or maybe 10, something similar to a sprint. Weapon Veteran max attack target count from 15 to 8. Now that's fairly insane considering that there's not very many attacks that hit this many targets. 8 is still an insane number considering um, it's multiple attacks. Weapon Veteran is not a singular attack, it is multiple attacks. Something like 4 attacks they'll do. Though they are moving, it's very unlikely for them to hit the same targets 4 times. But that is besides the point. It is still a big, big thing. Well, actually, the bludgeon, I think, is 6 right now for the Northernlands Cavalry or the Liao Rangers. So let's hold off on something like that. I do think that the bludgeon is a little bit more usable because they heat seek onto targets instead of flail around aimlessly. That's why Defeat the Enemy or the Valor is very bad right now, because even though they'll strike very hard for the first 2 attacks, they push through and just blitz past their target after and making them miss the next 2 attacks. So, yeah. The health and defense have been modified. Basic health has been changed from 8,001 to 7,813. Piercing defense from 609 to 543. Slashing defense from 601 to 551. Blunt defense goes from 536 to 336. A 200 decrease. That's a massive decrease. So they went and decreased the piercing defense by something like 50, no, 66. Ooh, 11% decrease there. And then a exact 50, so it'll be about 9% decrease. And then 200, shaving off around about 20%. No, 40% of their blunt defense. Holy cow. Fix the issue of damage loss after using Weapon Veteran. So not entirely sure what this is referring to. Increase the damage of Weapon Veteran by 35%. That is insane. 35% increase. When you're cutting the number of targets down in half and you're increasing the damage by 35%, it's still a net loss. But that's still, I mean, this could be pretty nasty. Well, I mean, again, testing shows that they will wreck ISGs or dense formations if done properly. It's just a little bit of skill issue at this point, so usability is not the greatest. Yan Yudao's were like this as well, where they had a very amazing attack with just basically one shot a unit and just hit or miss. People got used to it and were able to hit it more reliably, but it took some time getting used to. Some veterancy changes. So the effect of last node in inner growth has been adjusted. The last node online, so top line, assuming top line here, weapon veteran damage reduction bonus is reduced from 13% to 15%. I think they mean Swift as Lightning here. The last node offline, so bottom line here. Weapon veteran damage increase is reduced from 15 to 10%. So obviously that was going to happen with a 35% increase to weapon veteran. But I'm concerned that they would even consider this. Not to mention that they still hold the 15% extra damage against infantry. So that is concerning, since those will definitely combine together to balloon. Though, oh, wow. Didn't even notice this, but it was probably true considering that they kind of just decimated my ISGs, and I don't think I don't think my ISGs even withstood any damage coming out from them. It's just tons of damage. They didn't get block broken, so it definitely seemed like a scenario where I just got hit with damage. The weapon veteran can no longer ignore block. Now, that's always just a thing. I think people should. I think block needs to be kind of reworked a little bit. Anyway, talking about these guys, checking out some of the attributes, we do see them in game being changed. Funnily enough, descriptions haven't been changed, so those have not been updated. I do believe in hindsight that the reason why they nerfed the Zhuan heavy cavalry so much is because of how tanky they actually got. 30% damage reduction here, plus the 33% from the toughness doctrine, made them unbelievably tanky. And for sure, the best way to actually kind of handle this, I believe, would actually be go bot line, get that more damage in. So relying heavily on the toughness doctrine to kind of win the day. But regardless, I think either of them could have worked. But I think the reason why they dropped the tankiness is because this combined with the toughness doctrine made them overly tanky. And I mean like 30% straight up damage reduction as they're charging in. Not to mention they've got quite a lot of damage nodes. It was, in hindsight, overlooked because I don't test doctrines. I hate the fact that I actually have to take doctrines into account when balancing units, because there are some doctrines definitely that are just too strong and way too powerful. So that is a concern. Not to mention, they also have this reduced damage taken by 8%. Just thinking about it, you could get a combination that would be absolutely bonkers on something like the Zhuan Heavy Cavalry. 8% plus 5% plus 5% plus 5%. I think there are 3 different types of damage reduction ones you can get. A health one, a armor one, and I think a... Oh, no, a health one, an armor... I actually think it just might be 2. I think it might be just 2. But yeah, could have been insane. 10% plus 8% plus 33% plus 30%. Wow! Just saying that out loud, just thinking about it, that would be an insanely tanky and difficult heavy cavalry to kind of kill. And I think that's also why Ganyu Daos are so difficult to kill, because it is the same principle. They got 15%, 33% on the toughness, and then you can bring the armor plus the 5%, health plus 5%. So, man, the Ganyu Daos are just insanely tanky. Nevertheless, same principle, but these guys were surprisingly dealing way more consistent damage because of how their weapon veteran ended up being. But I think they had low impact but higher damage output, which is surprising if you like think about it. Lower impact. I think each individual hit of weapon veteran did like 2,000. They'll hit like 3,500 now. So they're going to be direct competitors to Yan Yudao's. Like, direct competitors. These guys will be direct competitors, for sure. The cooldown didn't change, so I think the heavy cavalry is going to have a very difficult time kind of maintaining dominance on the battlefield. But again, Yan Yudao's can unleash dread even at 0, and it will be very painful. So we're going to take a look at all of the units real quick, and then I'll close it up. Oh, I did forget to mention, the healing effect of Healing Hands for Alchemists has been adjusted from 20% to 10%, so that is probably just a kind of logistical thing, where where realistically the 20% would cause a lot of fringe cases. Imagine just heroes just trying to kill the alchemist and they're healing 20%. Unless you CC them like crazy, you're never gonna kill any of them. Like that could have been like an actual problem. But in the grand scheme of things, unit to units, alchemists obviously would never be viable. So the quick test for this one is to let them shoot. Let's see how accurate these guys are. Higher accuracy for sure. Ooh. That didn't look like double shot came through properly. So, probably a bug, maybe thing. I think their intent is to allow double shot to be used with Sudden Storm, but I think, personally, I think they shouldn't do that. Definitely looked like the accuracy came through. Definitely looks like there's still a bug with double shot and things. So probably don't use it together until we can be sure. So damage output from the sword mode definitely decreased. I think it's about half as much. What can I say? Yeah, definitely half as much here. Disappointing? Not really. I kind of expected it to get nerfed. There's no way they would have kept that higher damage on the unit. It would have just been absolute hell. Absolute hell. Ooh, that instant shot is very interesting. How fast they target is very nice. Much more usable in terms of hit and run, so you don't have to full-on setup. So double shot will still work in this scenario, and obviously they're getting that nice thing. They have a lot of block break for a archer unit. So Sudden Storm still getting that extra bonus damage. So instead of dealing something like 2,000 damage and ballooning to 4,000 damage, they're going from 1,000 damage, their base stats, up to the 2,000 damage when you use Sudden Storm. So definitely brought that down. No more just slaughtering the ISGs in melee. Though I do find it funny because the health increase is still there on both the melee and the range, so they're just going to be used as a purely ranged unit now, considering how weak they made the melee. I think if they kept the melee, people might have been gave an incentive to use it. Ooh. Whoa! Buggy. But did you see how much damage that popped out? 5,000 damage. I know these are trash units, but if you can get 5,000 damage on something like an archer that doesn't have block break, is concerned. But I'm sealing a lot of heals as well. I'm not sure if each attack usage is going to be like this. So they are healing. Am I guessing that they're kind of... I don't know. 2,500 damage is a lot. Is a lot of damage. So I can't really tell how much more powerful these guys really have become without actually testing them against other units. I'm thinking if I had something harder to bite on, I could get a better gist. There is a targeting issue for when they do brutal sweep. They don't just activate brutal sweep and just smash. They actually have to target someone, which is interesting. I think brutal sweep should kind of use the similar principle as the Orochi's disarm, which kind of just fires off in the general direction. Yeah. Okay, so you do see brutal sweep having an incredible amount of damage, like an incredible amount of damage. So I'm not sure if that has to do with the combination of things or just how this unit's been working out. Now, their melee is also just generally very good, as you can probably tell. But yeah, I was expecting this a little bit. So it does look like Soul Breaking Claw into Brutal Sweep, Soul Breaking Claw into Brutal Sweep is going to be the go-to. That's how they want you to use them. And I don't like it because, like, I'm believing that there is a cooldown mechanism for kills, so it'd just be like, oh man, if I actually watch the cooldowns, it'll be, don't even need to wait for them to end yet. I don't even need to activate it properly. Oh, never mind, actually, wait, what happened there? Oh wow, there's an internal cooldown. Brutal Sweep has an internal cooldown. I think it's 4 seconds. So, that is interesting. That is interesting. No spamming. No spamming. Maybe they'll fix that. Maybe they'll fix that. But, I mean, that is technically a bug, since you can't use Brutal Sweep again after using... Whoop, there it goes. You see? The unit got locked up trying to use Brutal Sweep when they couldn't. And I think after about 4 seconds, they were able to do it. So I'm guessing the base damage is probably around about 4,000 damage. I think the extra damage we're seeing when I hit 6,000 is stuff to do with their targeted strike, where they get bonus damage and stuff. Now, I'm expecting these guys to kind of... I'm expecting just to use these guys really badly, so... But I understand the principle of this unit way better now. Because... Whoa, okay, that was not what I expected. Actually, much more damage than I thought they would be. Low accuracy on Thornmail right now. Thornmail is just missing like crazy right now. But that was a lot of damage, considering that will also hit like 8 people. Can't imagine what bot line would be like in terms of damage. I'm gonna just throw them at this time, not using the number 2 ability. Impressive amount of damage as well, but not all powerful. So there is that issue. So, just running around using 2 doesn't seem to be that strong. When you combine it, though, they reach extra speed, maximum speed. Oh, 5,000 damage? Where's the 10,000 damage come from then? I like how all of them attacked and they just full on missed there. Now, I do find that funny. How strong is just the charge? Because it was about 1,000 damage. a little bit higher than 1,000 damage. Now, 3,000 damage is actually not a lot. They would be similar to no, not even Corteliers. Corteliers hit for around about 4-5. They would be similar to the Bedivere Rangers. Ooh, I put them on attack mode and that went funky as. They have very peculiar attack mode here. They have a nice attack. They have a nice attack range, as I can tell. But that Thornmail thing seems to miss a lot more than it should. Guess they didn't. I guess they didn't fix that. Do that one properly. Okay, so some attacks seems to be great. Some attacks seems to be really bad. So, I'm not sure what to say. I'm not sure what to say. I do think these unit is kind of interesting. I'm not sure like how everything's gonna end up being, but charging in, smack, smack, smack. I mean, you can see the unit block sometimes. So that's great. Oh yeah, there's also that interesting part. They're still technically charging while they're doing that thing, so I want to check out something. So I'm in charging mode. Didn't go anywhere. Nah. But they pushed through. Maybe I didn't do it properly. Maybe I should let them go somewhere. Alright, this time I won't half-ass the charge. But the charge cooldowns did match up for some reason, so I'm not sure what's happening there. I don't know why that one's 21 and the other one's 21. Ooh, okay. So once they pick up speed, they enter kind of like a pseudo charging state. That also would be annoying though. That means you can't pull off the charge as well as you think you could. So let's give this a test. I'm gonna charge straight at them. They're gonna change, and then I'm going to, ooh, and then flip them back. Nah, probably waited too long. Yeah, I waited too long. Alright. Okay. So there's that. I do think, generally, it would be a fun unit if it wasn't just another OP cav. I think it's interesting how they designed this unit to be less charge focused, but in the end, be like a charge. They're just running at you, dealing a lot of damage, and just pushing through. Because it doesn't look like there is any collision thing with Weapon Veteran. And again, Swift as Lightning, definitely no collision. Does a lot of damage. I mean, the Swift as Lightning, base damage probably around about 3,000. We're not even sure how armor is going to affect this, but it's going to be a really weak charge in comparison. It's probably one of the weaker charges, probably like Bedivere Ranger level, probably even weaker, probably even similar to Spahi. But I don't think they're going to put it as low as Spahi, which is like 2,000. Weapon Veteran, it's hitting hard to say the very least. I think a lot of the numbers probably range up to like 4,000 if I was like reading that correctly, and you probably could throw that to be even higher. Honestly, you could probably throw that to be even higher. And again, we still have the problem with Doctrines. There's going to be like, just generally, like even there, that was 5,000 damage. That was 5,000 damage average. 5,000 damage around for that one. So, base level, 5,000 damage against 8 targets. You're gonna be dropping like 4 units a hit. Yanyadao's output probably enough damage to like kill 3 units. These guys are gonna output even more damage, but they don't have the bullshit 65% ignores damage reduction or something. So there's that. Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, uh, I like the tier 3. I still like tier 3. They haven't changed it much. I dislike the fact that they reduced melee mode's potency. It just means that they're going to be more reliant on their range mode. So if I wanted to make this unit kind of like optimized, I would reduce the healing to about 50%. I would increase their base health to 9,000. Have that have sudden storm um, effect only be 25% and double in melee mode. So it'll be 25% while in range mode, but it will be 50% in melee mode. So there's that. I'm not entirely sure how I want to handle the 4-star Woeay Mansion Guards. They've Their two main ability is kind of like poke, swirl, so it's a bit continuous damage, and then a big sweep. So honestly, the big sweep should have lower damage and be used as more of a CC thing, and definitely you shouldn't have them be chained in such a way. I do think the poke swirl thing should definitely have a lower cooldown. Should also should definitely have a lower cooldown. Brutal sweep, again, the amount of damage it's dealing out is way too high, considering it also is their main CC ability by the looks of it. But I would be reworking the unit. I'd be reworking the unit so heavily at this point that it would be changed beyond belief here. And again, with cavalry, it's not a charge focused one, but I don't like how they just barrel through units. I want them to kind of get stuck. So I want them to act like Spahis. I want them to be more like Spahis, more collision focused. So how'd I change it? I changed their weapon veteran to be 4 attacks where they get to decide, of course, and it'd just be empowered attacks, and they would try to maintain momentum somehow. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, like another melee focused cavalry, which would be fun, if they could like make it so that it's a quick bam, 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 bam. And it would be really cool if they could unleash that attack while moving, which does seem to be the kind of what they're going for. But at the end, um, I think it's still too powerful because it's definitely going to be stronger than a charge in terms of burst, but it's going to be less. It's going to be shorter. It's going to be more condensed. So, um, as long as you don't pile up, you shouldn't. As long as you don't pile up, like it's kind of like the Yanudals, where if you're piled up super heavy and you don't kill the Yanudals will rip right through you. In this case, if you just kind of have meat shields, the Yanudals will waste a lot of their attack on those meat shields and just barely be able to get in range of other people, kind of thing. So you need space in that scenario. In this case, the space set is kind of set, and there is a set density that can kind of get you through, but the attacks comes in so fast that the density would be like way higher than something like than the Yanyu can deal with. And I mean, like, this is like whole units worth of density I'm talking about. It would be like 60 units you would be required to eat up the damage before it like stops killing stuff. But nevertheless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's it for the PTR update. If there is another PTR update, I will let you guys know. Uh, Unfortunately, I know some of you guys want more extensive testing. That's not what I'm here for. Unfortunately, I can't provide that for you. I just love to give people news and my thoughts, and my own experiences are kind of a lot of off video, off stream kind of thing. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Other than that, my name's Atsukai. Have a nice day. Bye for now. And if you haven't noticed, this camera light is killing me.